Welcome back to the Rich Life Diaries. In today's episode, I'm going to share with you my anti-aging secrets and how I look like I'm in my 30s and I'm actually about to turn 50 in a couple of months. So let's get into it. Welcome to Rich Life Diaries, the podcast where we talk real strategies for creating abundance, building a business you love, and designing a life that actually feels good. If you're done playing small and ready to create your dream life, you're in the right place. Now, I know this is a little bit left of field to what I normally discuss on this podcast, but there is a reason why I want to share this information with you, because at the end of the day, I just want to help people have a better life. And I understand better than anyone that when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, good things happen to you. And there's a strong correlation between people that take a lot of pride in their appearance, regardless of what they look like. I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about taking pride in how you turn up and show up in the world, your appearance, and a direct correlation to how much money they have in their bank account. Now, this is sort of a known thing. I've heard of many public speakers speaking about this exact topic. And I know it's true. When I look around in my own social circle and look at all the people that are doing very well financially, you know, they all have that common thread. They take pride in how they show up. They take pride in their appearance. And as I said, it's not about looks. It's just about caring about what you look like. There's nothing wrong with that. And I get questions. People ask me all the time. I'm always kidding because, as I said, I'm about to turn 50 in a couple of months. And a lot of people, when I share this with them, they're shocked and they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know you're that old. And what's your secrets? So I guess I just wanted to do a video. As I said, I'm all about helping people. I'm all about sharing knowledge. I want to share with people about what I've done that doesn't work to save you money, because I don't want people wasting thousands of dollars on beauty treatments that don't work. And I'm going to share all that today in today's podcast. And I also want to share with you the things that do work and how I approach anti-aging, because I'm a vain bitch. I don't want to look old. So I am going to fight that shit until I'm dead. And some of you might have a strong opinion about that. And I don't really give a shit, to be honest, because that's who I am. That's me. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do take pride in my appearance and I like to look good. I feel good. So, you know, as I said, this podcast is all about sharing the knowledge and helping other people and trying to save you money and improve your life. So I hope that this episode does that today. So before I jump into the nuts and bolts of all the things that I've done and the things that don't work and the things that do work, I want to touch on something that's really important. And it all comes back down to the whole theme of this podcast, right? It's mindset. Anti-aging is no different. If you think you're old, you probably will look old because you're manifesting that shit. If you have a mindset of, oh, I'm too old for that, oh, I'm frail, if you're always putting those negative words out to the universe about how you feel old, you look old, you can't do this, you go complaining about menopause symptoms, all the things, whatever, that will have a strong impact as to what turns up on the outside. I never used to look like this. Like if you look at photos of me when I was younger, people say the same thing. They're like, you look better now. I'm about to turn 50 and they think I look better now than what I did when I was 30 or 20. You know, it's because I've always had a strong belief in myself. I've always taken pride in my appearance, even though I was definitely not, I was an ugly duckling at school. I wasn't a good looking kid. I wasn't even a good looking young adult. I didn't really come into my looks until I was in my late 20s. You know, I went through a fat phase and all the rest in my early 20s. And yeah, I think I probably do look better now than what I did in my 20s and 30s. But I do strongly believe it's because I've manifested this. It's because I've always had this strong self-belief that I'm attractive, even though, you know, when I was younger, I wasn't. It's weird. I don't know where that comes from, to be honest, but it was just this inner belief. I knew I wasn't the best, most attractive kid at school. You know, I didn't really have boys interested in me until I was sort of in my late 20s. But yeah, I strongly believe, you know, the number one thing with anti-aging is definitely mindset. It's how you think about yourself. It's what the things that you tell yourself when you look in the mirror. If you're sitting there staring at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, oh, I'm ugly, I'm not attractive, whatever, they're going to have an impact as to how you do look and the inner confidence inside of you. And I have seen some average looking people, but they have strong inner confidence. They make the best of the outside, with what they've got. And they're some of the most beautiful people. Like, beauty comes from the inside. It really does. I strongly believe that. And I know some of you might be listening to this going, oh, what a bunch of BS, but it's true. Like, I really feel like the beauty, your beauty comes from your inside. So that's enough of the pep talk about mindset. So let's get into the nitty gritty of what I've done and what I've tried and what works and what doesn't. So first of all, I will go through the things that I've done that don't work. So you don't have to waste your money doing those same things. Okay, so I have to pull my phone out because I have a list and I can't remember all this off the top of my head. So what I've tried that didn't work or wasn't worth the money. So I have done PDO threads a few years ago on my face and neck, did nothing, painful, had a million fucking needles hanging out of my face and it did nothing. So I think it cost me a couple of $1,000s too. It was an awful experience. It was an hour of needles, did nothing, literally didn't even make a 5% improvement on anything. So don't waste your money on PDO threads. HIFU, I know this is a big thing that a lot of girls are getting done at the moment. In my personal experience, it didn't work. Look, I'm sure it might work for others, but I have tried it on different parts of my body and it zero. Once again, expensive treatment does nothing. I have done Pico laser, didn't get any results from that. Thermage, I tried Thermage actually quite a long time ago. I did Thermage on my knees, not even a slight improvement, nothing. So another treatment, no results, really painful, and it was $3,000 and no results. So don't bother with that one. And I've tried over the years a lot of skin tightening, like moisturizers, like body moisturizers. Like I think there's one, the Bang& Body one. I've tried One Skin. I've tried a whole heap of them. They don't really get results either. So they're sort of the things that I've tried, anti-aging things that I've tried that don't work. Now the things that I have tried that get minimal results is Morpheus 8. So that's like a microneedling with radio frequency, I think. I tried that recently. I just wanted to test it on my stomach because I was a bit nervous about doing it up here on my face or neck because I have heard that it actually dissolves fat if it's used wrongly by the person who's using the machine. So I did it on my stomach. Look, I think there was an improvement. My stomach wasn't loose, but, I just thought I'll just try it there and maybe there was a 10% improvement. So yeah, it gets results. Is it a wow improvement? No, but I think it does work. It's probably one of those things, if you go back and get it done a few times, you'll get better results. Skin boosters I've tried, similar to Morpheus 8, minimal result, maybe 10% improvement. I actually did CO2 laser this year. So I just felt with turning 50, my skin on my face is really good because I use really good, I'll go into that in a minute. I use really good skincare and I stay at the sun. I use sunscreen, all the other things. So I probably didn't need it on my face, but I did it face, neck and neck, the CO2. The results look probably maybe a 10% improvement. I was hoping it would do a bit of tightening, but it doesn't really. It just kind of cleans up your skin a bit. The lady did say that I had it done at a dermatology clinic. She did sort of say to me that unless your skin's really bad, like 70-year-old skin, you're probably not going to get a huge result anyway. And I think she probably went on the more conservative side with me because my skin wasn't that bad anyway. I just wanted to sort of try it and see if it helps tightening and cleans things up. So minimal result, still works, but yeah, probably better for more older ladies that have more sun damage and things like that, I would say, because my mum's done it and she got a really good result actually, but she is older than me obviously, and she had a bit more sun damage on her chest. The New Face microcurrent, I've had one of those years ago, tried it. Look, it does get a bit of a result. It definitely sort of tightens things up a little bit, but it's not permanent. So you've got to do it every day, which is kind of annoying because I don't know who has 10 minutes every day to do that. And the other thing I've tried recently is La Mecca IPL. Probably not so much for anti-aging, but I was just curious because it actually cleans up pigment quite well. And yeah, I tried that and the results were good, but not amazing. I did it in my arms and my legs just to get rid of pigment. off my arms and legs. It got rid of some of the pigment. So I think it's another thing that you have to go back maybe 3 or 4 treatments to get that real, good result. I've only had it done twice. Another thing I tried years ago, like when I was probably in my early 30s actually, is that Cosmolan. It's a Cosmolan peel. It's sort of like it takes off pigment, so it's good for melasma and things like that. Because I naturally have quite a freckly complexion. That actually did work. So even though I've put it under the list of things I've tried that get minimum results, it actually did work really well. It did. I peeled like a snake for I was shedding skin for like 3 weeks. It was really gross. I was waking up and I had skin all over my pillow. So it does work. It's really good for, as I said, melasma and getting rid of freckles. Maybe not so much an anti-aging thing to do if that's what you're looking for, but it definitely is something that gets rid of pigmentation if that's your issues. So what has worked for me? So I do minimal fillers. I'm not a big fan of fillers. I do fillers in my hands. I've had 0.5 mil in my lips. That's it. I don't do really fillers anywhere else. I tried fillers a few years ago in my face for anti-aging and it just looked awful. So I would never do fillers. I think fillers, in my opinion, I think the biggest thing with fillers is people think that they're anti-aging, but they're not. Fillers just change the way you look. They don't stop you looking older. They just change the way you look. So you'll still look old. And you see a lot of these celebrities, they just overfill themselves and then they just look like they look older, actually. Sometimes fillers make women look older. Especially I see these young girls at 20 getting all these fillers put in. It just makes them look, a 20-year-old then now looks 35. So I don't know. I know these days people are moving away from that look, that Kardashian, pillowy sort of face look. But I've sort of tried to avoid it. And like anything, I have a very layered approach to anti-aging. So I just like to do a little bits of different things. I don't like going all in on anything. Because I think I always want to look more on the natural side. I don't want to look like I've had anything done. That's kind of my approach. A bit like baking a cake, like, you need 5, 6, 7 ingredients versus, 1 ingredient. That's sort of my approach to anti-aging. So these are the things that have worked for me, the fillers in my hands and in my lips. I get regular facials like probably every couple of months these days. At Rationale, which I'll talk about their skincare in a minute. I am a huge advocate of red light therapy, huge. Like I have been using red light therapy for over 10 years, maybe longer because it was before they had all these at-home devices, which you can get now, which is great. But I used to go to red light therapy in a beauty clinic and pay like $80 a session for it. Whereas now you can buy the Omnilux or any other red light treatment bed, at home for $500 or $600 or whatever. I really do credit my skin to red light therapy. I had problematic skin in my 30s. I had acne rosacea really bad. I found that the red light therapy really helped with that. And then I started noticing that my skin was really glowy and just my skin quality improved, pores minimized, redness went away because I naturally have quite a red face. Like a brighter complexion, less freckles, things like that. So I think red light therapy works really well, but you need consistency and you need long-term. It's not a one-hit wonder. It's not I use this for 3 months and I won't get a result and throw it out. You need to consistently use it over several years to really see the results. And I guess I'm lucky because I've been using it for such a long time because I had the rosacea and that was back then a treatment for rosacea. And then I realized, oh, wow, my skin looks really good from this. And then now I have a full body one. So I've got the Omnilux face and neck, and then which is like a portable one. If I travel, I take that with me. And then I've got another one called Soluma, and it's like a whole body one. So I just lay with that on my face and over my body, and I do that maybe 3 times a week. And I really do think that's something that definitely gets results and works. But once again, it's part of the layered approach, right? Do that isolated, nothing else. You're probably not going to see anything crazy results. This is, as I said, baking a cake, and this is part of one of the ingredients of the cake. Laser genesis is another ingredient of the cake. So laser genesis, I discovered this type of laser when I had the rosacea because it cleared up my rosacea. And I had all these a couple of people in the beauty industry tell me, oh, you got rosacea, you need to try laser genesis. It's a really like low grade laser. It doesn't even hurt. Like it just feels like a nice warm massage. It's a laser treatment. I just normally do face, neck and neck, usually during winter. I might do 2 or 3 sessions a year, sort of a month apart. And once again, I really notice my skin looks really beautiful and glowy. It minimizes your pores. Kendall Jenner, I think, is a huge advocate of that. And a lot of the younger celebrities get laser genesis because it gets a really nice result. So that's something that I have been doing regularly for maybe 6 years, 7 years. Yes, I get Botox. I get baby Botox though. I like to have expression and movement in my face. I don't want to have a frozen face. As I said, I'm someone that probably tries to lean more on the natural side. I don't want to look done. So I've always been super conservative with Botox, and I only started doing Botox when I turned 40. I didn't get Botox before that because I don't know. I know they say, oh, it's a preventative and do it when you're young, and I don't know. I don't really agree with that. I think your body gets used to it, and what happens with Botox is it stops working, and that's what I've noticed. I have to go in it's kind of gone after 2 months is what I've noticed. And then, I try and push it out and go every 3 months. But I do notice and I do only get a sprinkle of Botox. I don't get a lot because I want to have movement in my face. So I definitely think Botox is something that gets visual results, definitely. I just get a little bit in my forehead and a little bit around my eyes, and that's it. And finally, good skincare. So I'm a huge advocate of Rationale. Now, I'll put in the comment section below the list of things that I use, just so you've got it there if you wanted to go and have a look. Now, Rationale is not cheap. To buy all the different products, it probably cost you $800 or $1,000, but it's so worth it. I've been using Rationale for over 10 years. I credit my beautiful skin that I have to Rationale because, once again, it's like the red light therapy. It's not a one-hit wonder. You need to use these things for years to see the real results, So as I said, my skin looks 10 times better now than what it did 10 years ago. It's improved. Like my pores have shrunk. I have no redness. I have a glow. Like everyone compliments me on my skin all the time. And I do credit that to Rationale. So as I said, I use a range of their products and I'll put them all in on the notes section below the video. The other thing I use, as I said, the red light therapy and a good exfoliant. So I scrub my skin every week with Cosmetics Purity Detox Scrub. I've used lots of different scrubs over the years. I find this is the best one. My skin feels like like a baby's bum after. Like it feels beautiful. So I use this scrub every week. And I'll put the details to that in the comment section below for you so you know where to get that from. So that's kind of my, my main things that I use. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, has she had any surgery? What have you done? You can't look like that, at 50 if it's just good skincare and red light therapy. And no, so I actually had a facelift 2 years ago. So I started to notice, now not many people know this, and I feel like about sharing this because most of my friends and family don't even know, and I've been keeping it a secret. I don't know why, I guess. I guess it's just a normal thing. A lot of women get facelifts and men. But yeah, I'm just quite a private person and I don't want people judging me. And I don't know. I don't know why I've kept it a secret. It's just, anyway, it's not a secret now because it's going to be on the podcast. But yes, I had a facelift. I had an SMAS facelift. I had it done 2 years ago. I started noticing probably around 46 that aging just happened like that. Like I always looked young. I always had sort of a youngish face because of all the different things that I've done, to look after my skin. But I did notice like probably 46, I started getting little jowls just around here. Things just start changing, right? Because everything starts falling down. I lost a bit of the baby fat in my face. The shape of my face started changing. I've always had an oval face. It sort of started getting a bit more sort of squarish looking. And I just started noticing things, and I guess I wasn't happy because I was like, oh, I don't like this aging thing, because inside of me, I'm a big kid at heart, and I still think I'm 30. I don't look at myself and ever think I'm 50, and I still, even saying that out loud, I'm like, the fuck, how am I 50? Like, I feel 30. Like, the name, it just doesn't even compute in my brain. So I really struggle to, accept that I'm turning 50. I mean, it's all good. I'm happy I'm 50. It's a privilege to get older. But yeah, I do struggle with that internally, because it's like I don't relate to that number at all. And yeah, so I think turning 46, 47, I was like, oh, so I went and did some filler. She put some filler around here, but, it looked awful. It just squared my jaw out even more. And I just thought, oh, this is not, And then I spoke to a couple of surgeons, and I was like, oh, am I too young to get a facelift? Do I just wait until I'm 50? And a couple of surgeons I researched and spoke to, and they sort of said the same thing. You're better off doing it younger. You get a better result long term. You're better off catching it while it's falling instead of waiting till it's fallen and then try to, stick it back up, so to speak. So yeah, so I decided to do it at 47. Best thing I did. I was so happy. The results were amazing. I had no bruising. I was out and about. 2 days later, nobody even knew. A couple of my friends were like looking at me going, what have you done? You've done something. Have you had a filler put in? And so I think people kind of knew, but it wasn't obvious. Most people didn't know. Most people were like, oh, you just look really refreshed. You look like you've had a good sleep. So I think that's a good time to do it. If you can, if you've got the money and funds to have a facelift, and you are worried about, how changes happening. From what I've learned, it's better to do it, a little bit younger than wait until you're into your 50s. And yeah, I don't have any regrets. Best thing I've done. Very happy with the results. I'll share a photo. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll share a photo on here so you can see the before, so you can sort of see it's not a huge difference, but you'll see from the before and after anyway. So that's something. If you've got the funds, do that. Don't waste money on fillers and all the other things I've just mentioned. Save the money that you'd spend on all those expensive treatments, pull them in, and then save up for your facelift, because trust me, it'll be way worth it. And then you won't need to spend money on all these other bits and pieces, because a facelift will last you 10 years. So that's my advice on anti-aging. So I just wanted to share this with you. As I said earlier, I don't want you to waste your money on things that don't work. So if I can share my knowledge and my experiences, and that's going to help you save some money, my job's done. So yeah, just do your research when you're looking at doing any treatments. The ones that I've mentioned today didn't work for me. Doesn't mean they don't work for everybody, but just be careful, because as I said, there's all these new treatments coming up all the time. Even this whole salmon sperm rage happening at the moment. Like, I've looked into it. I even spoke to the lady that did my Botox the other day about it. She said, yeah, it doesn't really work. So there's just all these fad things. They'll take your money and they'll say, oh, you need 3 treatments to see a result, and it takes 6 months. Most of this shit doesn't work. You just save up for a facelift if you can afford it. So guys, that's my podcast today, talking about my secret tips on anti-aging. Make sure you subscribe to my channel to keep up to date, and I look forward to seeing you back here in another 2 weeks. See ya.